Hey guys, welcome to our video lesson today. We're going to be talking about order of operations, which some of you should be pretty familiar with this, but we're going to get a little more practice. Order of operations, 3 of our vocabulary words that you need to know. The first one is numerical expression. And you guys are familiar with this, you just don't probably realize it. It's just a number sentence, 3 plus 4, or 12 divided by 4 times 5 plus 18 times 3 minus 17. You can see they range from the very basic and simple ones to some more complex ones. Order of operations, which is our main topic today. You probably remember maybe learning PEMDAS. This is just the order in which we solve numerical expressions that have more than one operation. So if we look back up here, this 3 plus 4 only has one operation. We're just adding in it. If we go to this one, we've got lots of operations over here. We've got division, multiplication, addition, another multiplication, and subtraction going on. And so we need to know what the order of operations are so that we can solve this or evaluate this properly. And then last but not least, we talked about this in our last lesson, but we have evaluate. That's just simply to find the value of a numerical expression, to simplify it. We even talked about kind of referring to it as solving. So if you know those 3 words, we're going to be good to go today. So when we talk about order of operations, like I mentioned, you might have heard about PEMDAS, which you might have learned was, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. It's just our kind of tool to remember the orders of operation in which you do. So let's look at what they are. The please stands for parentheses. Excuse stands for exponents. My and dear go for multiplication and division, and Aunt Sally go for addition and subtraction. Now what we need to remember is that we always start with parentheses. We have to figure out what's inside the parentheses and get rid of those parentheses before we can move on. And each one of these is a step. Before you can move on to exponents, you need to make sure that you've gotten rid of all of these parentheses. So when you are on exponents, you need to get rid of all of these before you can think about moving on down to multiplication. And here, multiplication and division are actually equal. When we read a problem, we read it from left to right. And so multiplication and division, it just happens to be whichever one you come across first. And then the same with addition and subtraction. When we read a problem from left to right, whether it's addition or subtraction that comes first, that's what you're going to do. So let's try this. One thing that I like to do is to, when I'm still getting myself familiar with this, I write out the PEMDAS. And I always write it like this because this way then I know that the multiplication and division are equal and the addition and subtraction. So here's our original problem up here. We've got this 9 plus 8 in parentheses minus 8 times 4 plus 6 times 7 in parentheses minus 2 squared. So the very first thing I want to do is get rid of the parentheses. So you can see over here, we're going to take 9 plus 8, cross it out, and replace it with the 17. We also have a second set of parentheses, so we need to evaluate that. 6 times 7, we're going to cross it out and replace it with 42. So now, essentially what we're left with is 17 minus 8 times 4 plus 42 minus 2 squared. And for some of you, it's going to help to rewrite those problems so that it doesn't get so messy. When it gets messy, we make mistakes. So now, our next, we don't have any parentheses left, so I can move on down to exponents. Do I have an exponent here? Yeah, I do. I'm going to take this, my 2 squared, and I'm going to replace it with the 4. So once I've done that, again, I've got 17 minus 8 times 4 plus 42 minus 4. Am I all done with my exponents? Yes, so I'm going to cross that one off. Now I'm at multiplication and division. And for those of you that didn't understand what I was talking about, make sure to pay attention here. I need to look at my problem from left to right, just like how you read a book. From left to right, and the first one I come across, whether it be multiplication or division, that's what I'm going to do. So starting here, I have 17 minus 8, that doesn't do anything, times 4. So I want to take this section right here and replace it with 32. Then I've got plus 42 minus 4. I don't have any division in this problem, and that's okay. Sometimes we don't have all the operations, and as long as we've checked to make sure they're not there, we can move on to the next problem. So my multiplication and division are done. Now I am left with 17 minus 32 plus 42 minus 4. And now again, I'm starting at the left-hand side. I go with addition and subtraction until it's all simplified. So I take 17 minus 32, then I'm going to add 42 and subtract 4. And when I'm all done, 23 is what it will combine to. Good job. So let's go ahead and try this. Again, I'm going to write my PEMDAS just as a reminder over here. And that way it's going to help give me a little game plan. So my first thing, parentheses. And keep in mind, our parentheses also include a fraction bar, or sometimes you'll see brackets. They're all grouping symbols is what they are. But I'm looking for my parentheses here. I have 7 plus 3, and then I have this weird 9, just plain 9, negative 9 here, that I'm going to get rid of the parentheses of. So 7 plus 3, I'm going to replace that with a 4. This I'm going to replace with just a 9. So I rewrite it 3 times 6 minus 4 plus 4 times 8 minus 9 plus 3 squared. All right. Do I have any more parentheses? Nope. So I'm going to check it off. Do I have any exponents? Yes, I do. I have that right there. I'm going to go ahead and replace that. 3 squared, remember that means 3 times 3. So I can replace it with a 9. And when I do that, I rewrite my problem and I have 3 times 6 minus 4 plus 4 times 8 minus 9 plus 9. All right, I'm all done with exponents. There's not any other exponents for me to simplify. So now I'm on multiplication and division. And again, I'm just going to go left to right. I have 3 times 6 to start with. So I'm going to replace that with 18. Now I have minus 4 plus 4 times 8. So again, I have another multiplication. I'm going to replace that with 32, minus 9 plus 9. All right, so let's replace it. We've got 18 minus 4 plus 32 minus 9 plus 9. There's not any more addition or multiplication or division, so I'm going to cross that off. And now I'm just going to add and subtract from left to right. So 18 minus 4 is 14. So now I have 14 plus 32. When I add those two together, I get 46. 46 minus 9 would be 37 plus 9 would get me back to 46. So my answer to this, when I evaluate these, we're using order of operations, is 46. Now we have a new problem. Same thing, we're going to go through it. We've got our checklist. Our first thing we want to do is parentheses. I have this and I have this. So when I replace it, I'm going to put a 12 here. Minus 7 plus 3 cubed minus 5, this whole thing equals 5, plus 5 squared. All right, now I am on to exponents. Do I have any exponents? Yes, I do. I've got this that I need to replace. 3 times 3 times 3 equals 27. And over here I've got this one, 5 squared, which I'm going to replace with 25. So now I have 12 minus 7 plus 27 minus 5 plus 25. So now multiplication and division. Do I have any multiplication or division? No. So I get to skip right past it and go on to addition and subtraction. And I just start over here and I move that way. So 12 minus 7 is 5, plus 27 gives me 32, minus 5 equals 27, plus 25 equals 52. You can see as we get more familiar, we can go a little bit faster through it, but don't go too fast and make mistakes. So now I have some that I would like you to try on your own in your homework. We'll see you tomorrow.